All right, this right here was built to the specs of my customer. He wanted a 97 exhaust roof, 79 to 80 on the intake. It's got a 20,000 squish right at it. I think this one actually has 19,000 squish. The transfers are at 122.5. It does have the carburetor mod. There is no timing advance or anything, because I find that whenever with these right here, this 590 and 620, you could advance the timing on this a little bit for sure, but they just, in my opinion, behave better and are easier to tune if you don't advance the timing. And they run really good, and the amount of, this ain't for a speed saw. If you're looking for the fastest saw out there, this ain't gonna be it. This is a good work saw. So anyways, it's all 590 except for, because he wanted that 97 degree exhaust roof, I went ahead and I was like, you really need to do the 620 piston with the dual rings. And that way you can keep a little bit compression. So anyways, I've got it tuned up. If you're wanting to tune these things, they have to be warm. As soon as you run them, they're gonna seem rich, right? And then you start tuning on them to get rid of that rich four-stroking. But as soon as they warm up, you'll have to retune it again, because then you'll be too lean. So make sure it's nice and warm before you tune it. And what you should get is, in a log like this, a cut like this, whenever you let off, like say, and let off and reposition, it should four-stroke just a little bit, right? But actually in the cut and with slight pressure or slight leaning on it, it'll clean up. If you run your saws like that, they'll just last forever. So I am running the Duke's chain, and it's a little bit used, just a little bit of cuts like this. I did take a couple swipes off of the rakers, and you look how badly it's stretched. But that's not knocking it. Hell, you get 3 for like 40 bucks or something. It's outstandingly priced. It seems to be good chain for what it is. But it seems slow as a crippled dog, you know what I mean? I mean, it just doesn't cut fast at all. And honestly, I've got it set. I set the rakers to what I normally set, which is the hardwood setting when using the Husqvarna raker gauge. And for the money, I think they're great. They're the best deal out there. But whenever you compare them to any of the other big 3, the Oregon EXL, the Steel RS, the Husqvarna C83, it just ain't with it. It ain't. I mean, because it just ain't. So now we're going to throw this bar and chain setup onto the other 590 that I just got finished with. It's identical to this one with 2 differences. Number 1, it has the 590 piston, right? And number deuces, it has a 102 exhaust roof. all the numbers are the same. So all the numbers are the same, okay? Anyways, and so we're going to see how they compare. But yeah, that Dukes chain, I mean, if you're broke as a joke, or you're just wanting to try something out, I say go for it, you know, but don't expect it to be what any of the top 3 is. It's probably fairly close to EXL, but it's still going to be lagging behind that, is my guess. Yeah, it's just really good made in China chain. That's what it is, you know. It's still made in China chain, and it's not as good as the big 3. It's just not. But let's see how this thing compares to the same setup, but with a 590 piston and a 102 exhaust roof. Okay, now here we are with the 590 piston and 102 exhaust roof. Oh, I should add that the 620 piston is brand new. The rings are brand new, so that's definitely going to require break-in, you know. Just saying, this is an old piston and ring that came with the saw. It's going to be already nicely broken in and stuff. That chain loosened right up again, didn't it? So both saws felt good. This saw feels better. I don't know if it's faster. I don't know. But yeah, 79 intake, 122.5 on the transfers, and 102 exhaust on this one. This one's going to a gentleman in Ireland. I hear they got something going on with snakes over there, or they have nothing going on with snakes. It's one or the other. It's either all in or all out. I'm not sure what's going on with the snakes in Ireland, but there's something going on. The last time I did a test like this is with my test mule, and it has a 96-degree exhaust roof. And whenever I put the little red barn piston in there and it gave it more compression, I felt like it was stronger, but it turns out that it was not as fast. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I don't know which one's faster or not, but this one feels stronger in my hands according to the way I run it. But, you know, the customer asked for that 97-degree exhaust roof, and so I gave it to him. Everything else And now of course, I talked him into the 620 piston, but everything else is all the same. Both of them are carburetor modded. Neither one of them have a timing advance. And there you have it. I will say though that a brand new piston and rings, especially on these Echos, they like about 10 tanks to break them in, you know, whereas this one is probably already going to feel broken into me immediately because it's already broken in. You know, a port job doesn't really change that. There may be small little teeny tiny things that are going on different, but mainly what it is like you can look at them. If you see a brand new ring, I'm not positive on this, so don't quote me, but I feel like they're hammer forged. That's got to be wrong. Okay, it really does. I know they're cast iron rings, but whenever you look at the side profile of a brand new ring, you usually see a line right in the middle of it, right? And so whenever they break in, that line gets completely smoothed out so that you have better sealing around the cylinder. So it takes a while for those brand new rings to break in, especially with Echos. Even though I sanded them, like there's like a black coating, and I sand that off every time I do one, unless I forget. But I didn't forget this time, you know. So it'll be interesting to see which one's more powerful, but at the same time, it won't mean shit. It won't, because one of them has brand new piston rings. The other one doesn't. So you can't gauge anything off of that. But yeah, they both feel good, and I think that the customer's gonna be happy. The 97 exhaust roof is going to a man named Mark I think he's in Oklahoma. And the reason he wanted that is I guess that is Donnie Walker's formula for these things, for a 620 at least, you know. And yeah, he really wanted it, and so I was like, okay, go for it, and I'll do it, no problem. Anyways, so I'll get these things buttoned up and shipped off to their new owners, and then I'm all clear to start messing around with some of the stuff that as my own personal stuff, or that I want to get going for either Sawfest and or the 60cc challenge that I'm actually putting out, where I try to find which 60cc saw is going to be the best. But yeah, anyways, both good saws. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button. Ding! Yeah. Subscribe if you haven't. I got a lot of good content, especially if you want Echos. I'm pretty sure at this point I completely eclipse. Well, Charlie Briscoe has a lot of Echo stuff. A lot of Echo videos. But, you know, if you're wanting Echo videos, there's just not a lot of people out there doing it. I've got a lot of Echo videos at this point. Shitload. Oh, these old knees. Oof. Shit. I'm old.